Federal Executive Council approves about 22.5 billion naira to development facilities in Bayelsa and River States. Federal Inland Revenue Service collaborates with accounting professionals towards blocking tax leakages and tax evasion. Brent bounces above $101 this Thursday, plus attention and bill to establish National Inspector General for Tax Crime Commission. This is Business Express on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, and we are reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Leah Katung Babatunde. You're welcome. The Federal Executive Council has approved about 22.5 billion naira to development facilities in Bayelsa and River States aimed at improving the environment. Also at the Federal Executive Council meeting, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, says with the ongoing rehabilitation of the nation's refineries, the end is in sight concerning issues of fuel scarcity in the country.
A very major step today by approving the award of contract for consultancy services for the design of Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration with an integrated contaminated soil management center.
The issue of refineries, the rehabilitation of Port Harcourt refinery is on course. We promised that by end of this year, the old refinery will be fully operational. That's what we promised. And that is fully on course. I still stand.
Yes, of course. Oil prices gained a footing on Thursday from steep falls in the previous two sessions as investors returned their focus to tight supplies even as fears persisted over the demand outlook amid risk of a global recession. Brent crude futures rose 67 cents or 0.7% to $101.36 a barrel after tumbling more than $2 to a session low of 98.5 earlier. WTI crude futures climbed 59 cents or 0.6% to $99.12 a barrel, bouncing from an intraday low of $96.57. Gold prices edged up on Thursday from 9-month lows and touched in the previous session. How are prices on the global commodities market? Let's find out. Towards the end of 2021, the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) signed a memorandum of understanding with professional bodies to standardize tax practices towards improved revenue collection. Now the service has brought together council members for implementation, and Moplang Dakok has that report.
Tax evasion has been a global phenomenon, but for the Federal Inland Revenue Service, blocking loopholes and generating more revenue is paramount for the smooth running of the economy. The collaboration between the service and the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria (CITN), the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria (ICAN), and the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria (ANAN) is to ensure accuracy and completeness of value-added tax elements and other taxes.
It's all about collaborating to making sure that we fix the tax system in Nigeria so that we are able to optimize revenue for the 3 tiers of government. This is the money that is being used to fund social amenities. This is the money that is being used to pay for security and safety of our lives. So that is why we are taking this very seriously.
The professionals rub minds on the next steps to take regarding tax regulation, with focus on intelligence, strategic data management, and adopting renewed strategies to deter financial reporting fraud, among others.
You will realize that as stakeholders, in terms of issues of returns, we all owe certain things we need to do for a return to be valid. And that is why we felt that, look, we should stick to the areas where we have the highest level of competency.
I want to say that in the past few years, the entire tax system has improved remarkably. We have seen so much efficiency. We're just contributing to it. We are all stakeholders in this. Building trust, building collaboration.
They agreed that all tiers of government would sidestep budget deficit if revenue is improved, resultant from the intent of this collaboration. In Abuja, Muplang Bakok.
Now, amid dwindling revenue and increasing financial needs, the nation's tax system has had a lot of eyes on it, with a view to not only ensuring more Nigerians are dragged into the net, but to have a very efficient and effective system. In view of that, a private bill seeking to establish National Inspector General for Tax Crime Commission (NIGTCC) is in the offing. The bill's objectives is tax transparency that will expand tax net, reduce rate and multiple taxation, protect taxpayers' rights, engagement of host of stakeholders, tax education and sensitization. What are the objectives of the bill and what are the prospects? Well, we have in the studio the author of that bill to hear from him firsthand. He's Oji Philip Oji, tax analyst. It's so good to have you on the program this morning.
Thank you. That's your name, please. I want to be calling your name.
Okay, my name is Leah.
Leah.
Yes.
I think I see you often in the television. Today I'm seeing you practical.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That's great. So perhaps you will start by telling us, do we need a National Inspector General for Tax Crime Commission? Do we need it?
Yes.
Why do we need it?
We need it because it's just one of the 10 global principles of Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD). That is the global network that Nigeria is part of. We belong to OECD. All right, but the 10 global principles stipulate that these member countries should have an external auditors, investigators, it's just simply call them the examiners or scrutinizers, because they cannot share automatic information with the domestic collector of tax, which is Federal Revenue Service, our own. Let me just put about 3 countries. If you go to United States, we have the Internal Revenue Service, we have the Inspector General of that means Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, TICTA, of the United States. We have the IGT, Inspector General of Taxation / Ombudsman of Australia. We have the HTTC. But if you go to the same Australia, we have the ATO, which is Australia Tax Office, just like a Federal Revenue Service. The other one is what I'm asking for. The name is Inspector General of Taxation / Ombudsman, because there's a lot of things to do with the welfare of the people we are collecting tax from. We will talk about that later. When we go to United Kingdom, their own is even a bit not mainly leading this, but yeah, they have, because the welfare and the feeling and what the perception of taxpayers is pivotal in taxation business, because if they feel bad, you will not collect anything from them. A lot of things will just be going wrong. But do we have these things in the world? Yes, even in Africa, we have plenty of it. South Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Uganda. Name them. Because you cannot give somebody to go and collect tax, just like federal revenue, 5 trillion, 4 trillion, and we call it obvious temptation in my subject. I'm a tax analyst, as a tax expert. There's something you call obvious temptation.
What is that?
That is to say, you give somebody, just like bringing to a male and a female who are matured to get children, or they are matured to know that they are woman and this is a man, and you are a pastor or you are a man. You now put them in one room and tell them that Jesus said don't touch somebody that no, that's the obvious temptation now. Or a pastor said so and the man said you didn't marry her, don't touch her. I think the right thing to do was to keep them in different quarters. They are your domestic staffs, but you cannot give them that preaching and equally give them a one bed to sleep in. The truth is obvious temptation. So if you leave the way we're operating, no matter who you put in the federal revenue, even if there's hate, who is the chairman, was so decent, what about the operators? What about his directors? So they are not corrupt, I can say, but the system is not good. It's obvious temptation.
So
in that
are you saying we will have a sort of an audit look over the function,
the operation of federal revenue services? It's how it's been done every part of the world.
How about the subnationals, the states and the local governments? How do
this? I will go to that point, because if you talk about this, the organogram, I put it here. So if you have the Inspector General and his deputy, principal deputy, you still have the Deputy Inspector General for audit, Deputy Inspector General for inspection and evaluation, Deputy Inspector General for investigation, Deputy Inspector General or Associate Inspector General for mission support, and the Deputy Inspector General for Ombudsman. The Ombudsman is the person who will make sure that there's no need to allow the taxpayers to go to court. It was only the rich, a strong person, that can challenge the matter to court. So whatever thing you are doing, make sure you treat the taxpayers the way they would belong, or organize, know what is your policies. In fact, the inspection and evaluation side is dealing with that thing that government make as an incentive, because we have tax holidays. If you make tax holiday and nobody is there to make an inspection and evaluation, that place may be, the intention of government was to create it so that somebody will be given a holiday to create an industry or factory to produce something and then give us job. That was how Singapore did their own 1959. They give it to multinationals to come and develop industries like iron, radio, things you used to see say made in Singapore. 1959, that is the idea. They don't know that, like myself, I live in Singapore 5 years. So they have no other place, they source their whatever they are doing, it is tax. But if you are making an incentive and nobody inspect and evaluate, you will see that because the federal revenue, the work overload, do not allow them to make a good inspection and evaluation. Are you getting? So somebody that person that stand like us is that a mediator, government, the people you are collecting tax from, and the federal revenue, because sometimes the taxpayers may not even be the real person evading tax or tax defaulter.
Okay,
it could be the collector.
If I may come in here, are you in sync with the FIRS? Are they in on this bill, and what is the feeling like from the lawmakers?
I've never communicated with them directly, the Federal Revenue Service, but I have met them in a particular, seminar in NFA. That was African Tax Transparency. Just everybody came, and eventually they invited me because they knew I'm doing this tax. So the director that they sent from Federal Revenue to come and speak, she was talking, she's a woman, she was just talking. When she finished, I said, Mama, I'll ask a question, because they give me a chance to ask questions, because I'm dealing with the tax matter. And I'll say, do you know that S is missing in Federal Revenue Service operation? He said, please come again. I said, the letter S, F IRS. The letter S is missing. He said, can you tell me? He said, yes. When you are carrying me in a vehicle now and going to Lagos or Lokoja, we will eat at so place. We will buy fuel. Somebody who want to go to Latrine, so place because we can't park in the bush. This is service. You are not carrying an animal. You are discussing with me. But in our method of taxation, the federal revenue, that particular S is no longer, it doesn't exist, because if you are collecting money from somebody, the person is supposed to know what is going on. What the taxpayers in Nigeria was in the dark. As I speak with you, nobody know what they are doing. Although she said, yes. I said, can you tell me exactly? He said, our chairman is trying to make sure the public are brought in to be able to know what we're doing. Because first of all, sensitization and education, tax education is very important. So the taxpayers will even know what we are saying. Some of them don't even know their obligations. They don't even know what is their right. And nobody protect them. The ombudsman inside what I'm trying to create will be the protector who will say, you are infringing the right of the taxpayers in the particular place. Or maybe government, you are losing so and so thing, because the inspection and evaluation, their job is to check the areas that things are not done well. Maybe multiple taxation in a particular section, and government don't know. You already collect the tax, but you are collecting it again. You don't know. Yes. If you make it workable, you will see that voluntary compliance of taxpayers will give you more money than charging somebody so big. The person either devise the means of bribing somebody to reduce it. Government will not see that money. That bribe goes somewhere. Now, the person might even decide to run away from tax. You see, but if taxes reduced to, this is part of the thing that you will do. I want the taxpayers of Nigeria to relax, because some of them hear that we are coming, they will say afraid. I am Philip Oji. I know about tax. If you make it a broad base, you may not even need to give. This incentive is not necessary. Tax holiday is not necessary. If you make tax broad base, you will see the money. In fact, we will generate 30 trillion naira. If 50% of what I say should happen. We don't need to even beg from anywhere.
Okay, but then there are concerns if we're talking about, let's be realistic, if we're talking about bringing down the tax burden, well, government believes that more taxes have to be introduced because we need the resources to survive. And on another hand, we're going to agree that there's still a lot of people out there who are not in the tax net.
Yes, yeah, but I'm going there.
How do we bridge this?
There is no way you will use federal revenue alone and get it. If what I'm saying is not a genuine argument, the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Commission wouldn't have taken the federal revenue service to court. I'm to inspect you. They say, no, you can't inspect us. Are they not pointing to this bill? I mean, they went to court. Maybe that matter have settled, but I knew they went to court. And truly, the threshold or the mandate of Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Commission did not give them that right. That's the truth. Now, sometimes federal revenue will go and hire EFCC to write somebody letter. As far as I'm concerned, it's a military approach. Use ICPC is a military approach. So, what is good is the person will work. The US own. They are work. Everything they do. In short, we are the tax receipt, while they are the collector. Anything they pay into federal revenue and all the multinationals. Let's talk about what we are able to capture first. Then I will tell you the other area. If you do it well, you see that we will have the receipt and even make the Senate, which is where everybody will report. What I mean, anything called tax, the people doing what I say we are going to establish, don't go to report to the finance minister, because you are dealing with people who are listening to you to show them transparency that will give them confidence in the tax administration. But how is the National Assembly? How are they reacting to this? They love this. I have met the president. The person doing this in the chief whip of the National Assembly. He's an international businessman, Ojo Kalu. Abia not. All right. You can't tell him this. He's a businessman. We have what we call international citizens in tax. Do you know them? A Nigerian who own a factory overseas, we can't collect tax from him because we have no mechanism. Where is the mechanism? This thing. And who will give it to you? OECD. Automatic information sharing will not beg for it. We are losing 10 trillion naira a year. How much are we getting? in the domestic collection of tax. So if we are losing 10 trillion, and this is what you must do to be able to share information. The vice president agreed that Nigeria have no mechanism to operate with the OECD guide. What type of, how much is the mechanism? Is it the men and women that went to school that I know this country is the greatest in the black race? They have nothing to complain about borrowing from anybody. So we should feed Africans. I know what I'm talking about. I'm international businessman, remember? I know what I'm saying.
And definitely we're going to feed Africans someday.
Oh, less, because I'm going to speak in that one. The NTA is not doing too well. I have written 2 letters to Ayuba. I respect him. I visited his office twice. They refused me seeing him. I was laughing because now I will say it. Let us say it the way it is.
Yes.
We are in a peculiar situation and we have to discuss it the way it is. Even as I'm talking,
I'm told that we don't have time, that we're already out of time.
Okay, let's go to the point. Make points. If what I'm saying is out of point.
No, we're actually out of time, not out of point. Not out of point. So I'm told that our time is up so that we can take other things as well on the program.
The truth is that this thing, tax transparency is what I'm calling it. If it happens, the cripple is paying tax in Nigeria, yet they say Nigerians are not paying. We are paying too much.
Okay.
Simple.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oji,
thank you very much
for coming on the program. And of course, we move on.
Yeah.
One of the silver linings of the COVID-19 pandemic has been watching some businesses experience unusual high sales. Pedro, an Abuja-based artist, is one of the fortunate few who reported increase in patronage at a time the pandemic was forcing many businesses to shut down in 2020. He shared his experience with Neka Oko.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
I made sales during COVID-19, and there are some exhibitions that I also made sales, because some galleries, since they can afford to have an open space where people can come in to see what, so they introduced an online exhibition, where they did online exhibition both home and abroad and all that, so which some I took part in. While we are doing that, I had a lot of people, hit me up like, oh, I never knew you paint. Oh, like, how have you been? Like, oh, your works are so good and all that. I would want you to do something for me and all that. Like, this is them commissioning me during COVID-19. And during that period, I won't lie to you, I was busy. I was just indoors painting. During the COVID, it's something I've seen most countries, do, assisting the people, giving out grants and, helping people run their business so that people don't run into, so people's business don't collapse and all that. Yeah, it's a good development from the government, but it's quite unfortunate I didn't get to know about it. Had it been I knew about it, I would have also tapped in. Getting a loan to support my business is something that I've always wanted people to actually support me, and getting it from the government, that would be a good way to go, and more like pushing me, adding, like assisting me, supporting me in a way I will have to take my work out there, because right now I can't only be selling online, and I still need a place where I can host my exhibition. I'm popular, I own a gallery. COVID-19 taught me a lot. COVID-19 made me to understand the need that we all need each other. And for the fact, being indoors alone made me to reflect more on life and having a rethink and on learning things I used to know and to learn a new one.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Wednesday made it the third straight day this week as stocks failed to shake off losses recorded Tuesday due to sell pressure. At the close of trade on Wednesday, the midweek session, the all-share index declined by 0.06% to close at 51,556.54 points. 134 million shares valued at 1.438 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,745 deals. Equity capitalization resumed this morning at 27.7 trillion naira. Transco Guarantee Trust and UPD CPLC were the most active shares at the end of the day's trading. Next is the global market.
Investors are digesting the latest Federal Reserve's minutes released Wednesday, in which the central bank's official reiterated a tough stance against inflation. European stocks advanced on Thursday, building on gains in the previous session. Asia-Pacific markets were mostly higher on Thursday as investors watched for market reaction to the latest minutes. Japan's Nikkei 225 gained 1.47% to close at 26,990.53. Shanghai Composite rose 0.27% to 3,364.40, while Hong Kong Hang Seng Index dipped 0.04%. U.S. stock futures were slightly higher on Thursday morning as investors digested the most recent meeting minutes from the Federal Reserve. Dow Jones Industrial Average futures inched up by 100 points or 0.32%. S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 futures are on the positive lane. It's a positive open for African markets with South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 and Namibia's overall index posting gains. Morocco opened marginally positive while other stocks are yet to post new figures. Boss said Able, Business Express.
And we birth here. Don't forget you can access all previous episodes on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Also be informed that you can communicate with us via our social media handles. Do join us again Friday at 3 p.m. for another package. I'm Leah Katung Babatunde saying have a very fruitful day and God bless Nigeria.